This is called Lasting Impressions. First impressions. I remember very vividly Janice Mays driving up to my hot dog stand telling me that she wanted to introduce me to a new addition to the African American Studies Department, Micere Githae Mugo. Micere demurely greeted me with, "Hello, my brother." I had no immediate initial impression, not fully aware that I had just met a child of the universe. During that first or second year, I learned of her political activism against human rights violations, and she learned of my volunteer work in prisons. And coupled with her having been a subject of prison incarceration, we sojourned to the Elmira Correctional Facility for a program. She picked me up that Sunday morning. I noticed the sister had kicked off her shoes and was driving in her stocking feet. And my thoughts went to the likes of Patti LaBelle, because you see, when a sister kicks off her shoes, you're in for a good time. Tie my Jenny.
Everybody tie my Jenny. Tie my Jenny. Just imagine. Imagine that you and I and all the women of this world stood hand in hand, marched side by side, crossing, dividing borders, constructing, connecting bridges, shattering, binding chains, creating the linkable links across the nations, across the continents. Imagine.
Well, when I hear the name Micere Mugo, Pan-Africanism comes into mind. Motherhood, a fighter, a mother, a sister, a comrade.
Jerry, my sister, and I have always known my mother in her different in the different facets of her life, but at the same time, she was always mom. So it was hard at times to differentiate between mom, the activist, mom, just the mother, and her different roles, the professor, the teacher, the mother to students. And I think what I've come to realize is she is almost.
Enya umami eba nkwara ene yewunya, which literally means you don't have to come from the same parents before you can call somebody a brother or sister. That person's deeds, actions, kindness will qualify anybody to be called a brother or sister. Professor Mugo family and my family are one and only one family. Professor cares about everybody. Professor hears anybody has a problem, you'll be the first person to get there. And because of her advice and counseling, we've all been made good people in the community because of Professor Mugo.
Community builder. I became a member of Parknik about 10 years ago. Right from the first time I met her, I knew she was sincere. She's always put people first, She's about building relationship, helping folks, especially the African community here in Syracuse. So, of course, a teacher. She's always teaching. Every opportunity, she's always teaching something to folks, Always talk about her experiences so that people can learn from her life experiences.
She talked about her life, I talked about mine, and we talked as if we were two lost African souls reconnecting again for the very first time. At the prison, she talked to the brothers, she read some of her poetry, and then she introduced me. And when she introduced me, I felt like I was Nelson Mandela.
I call her Mother Africa, but not only Mother Africa, I think she's the mother of the world.
Call her Mother Africa because she epitomizes all the values and the principles of what human nature is all about.
and what Africans believe in terms of the kindness, love, creativity, service to others. But the wisdom is, we have respect for our elders. And for all of us in this community, she is the elder. I may even be older than she is, but for me, she's the symbol of wisdom among us. Somebody we cannot afford to take for granted.
I imagine that our hearts were merged and that our minds were fused in composing one eternal creation poem, in enacting one non-ending feminist drama. I imagine that this theater starred one mammoth sea of women, so mobilized no one could rip off. A force so militant no patriarchy could molest. A family so united no racism could separate. A human breed of liberated that no classism can divide. I imagine it.
So she was one of the founding members of PACNIC, the Pan-African Community of Central New York. Very, very active member. She founded this organization because there was a need at the time. There was a void to have such an organization to bring all our interests together here in Syracuse. And it wasn't easy in the beginning. With a few brothers, they were able to put this together. She spearheaded the Constitution. She wrote the Constitution of PACNIC. She also gave her advice and opinion as how to get the 501c, non-for-profit organization that we did. Of course, she was a professor at SU for many, many years before she retired, the African American Studies Department. And every time she had the opportunity, she was always reaching out, bringing Africans, bringing them on campus, to participate on the African initiatives that they do have once in a while on campus. So people know her here because she's always reaching out.
As you know that when we are out here, we as Africans, we are used to our extended families. We are used to, a neighbor can be your family. Whoever lives around you can be your family. And being away from home, she made it a point that we become a family. She organized this African Women Organization, and it has become a family. It has become a support system. It has become everything. And if it wasn't for her, we'd still be living as individuals. We'd still be going through our own problems without anybody knowing. But Micere Mugo made it a point that we identify with one another. We unite. We support each other. We become one. We become family. She and her children have been family to most Africans and to everybody else that needs family in this central New York, Syracuse in particular.
From one of your poems, you uttered, "There is longevity in my bloodstream and massaging healing in my veins. Whenever I'm in contact with any touching human encounter, there is a healing moment." And there was a healing moment taking place as she engaged in validating those incarcerated men and brothers, and me as well. Your words jumped off the pages and into the souls and hearts of your brothers. As your words continued, you said, "I have feasted upon sustaining human movement. I have hugged rich and enriching passing, eternal human touches." That day I could see how you had touched the lives. Maybe these are things that you've forgotten, but I doubt that those men ever will.
Her schedule is constantly full. I mean, weekends when people are taking time to relax with their families, weekends are the time she's, very involved in her community work, community meetings. And when I say community, not just organizationally, she's also a community person. So she's calling to check on people, her community children, her community sisters, brothers, I don't know how she does it. I know it gets done, but I really don't know how she does it.
I remember there was a time my brother passed away. She was the first person to call, and she was the first person to drop an envelope. I mean, I've been here, I've been in the country for about 43 years. I'm from Ghana in West Africa. Professor is from Kenya. I've never seen any African family than Professor Mugo's family. They're so generous. They think about everybody's welfare.
Everybody looks up to her. Whenever anything happens to anyone in the community, she will be one of the first to be there to lend a hand. She's involved in all kinds of organizations for the betterment of humanity. So she's a real community woman. I do not live too far from her, so I see her a lot. We talk also. She's my sister and a friend, and if anything happens to me, I'm sure she'd be more than glad to be there to lend a hand.
I remember I had an incident at my job. She took time to be there, and I sat down with her and told her that, I was dismissed. It was an unjust dismissal. She went with me for the hearing, and she could tell that there was injustice. Where there is no justice, she does not compromise. She does not sacrifice. She will say no and stands her ground. She stands for justice, and fair equal treatment.
Is a classic case whereby a scholar or someone who is known to be, very well established within the academy, has transcended that scholarship world and translated that into real action with the community. So I've known her as, yes, both, as an accomplished scholar, but at the same time, she is, a person who speaks to community mobilization and community activism, so to speak, and she has demonstrated that for a very long time since she came to here in the U.S., especially in Central New York. She's involved in, especially Pan-African activities within this specific region. She speaks to that community and every other aspect that pertains to, a sense of belonging, a sense of humanity.
I am a border crosser, defying geographical containment. I am Zimbabwean, I am African, I am Pan-African, I am Nigerian, I am Jamaican, I am an internationalist, I am a Black American, I am a transnationalist, I am a citizen of the world.
And apart from Kwame Nkrumah, I think, to me, Professor Mugo will be somewhere around, so far as Pan-Africanism is concerned. She's a true Pan-Africanist.
She's the epitome of Pan-Africanism. She is the symbol of struggles of Africans all over the place, and the unity and community that needs to exist among us. And she's made it a conscious effort that Africans in this community and Africans everywhere, not just in Syracuse, can come to absorb the unity that exists among us and come together and appreciate one another and try to achieve something that would mean something for the community, something that we can be proud of as Africans. So it's not just people from Kenya or Ghana, but really looks at the whole diaspora and say, these are my people. And we also have to realize that she is the glue that binds all of us together. To me, that's what she means to the Pan-African community of Central New York. And that extends to the Ghana Society of Central New York. She brings us all together. I mean, when we go to meetings, when we go to events, we go to functions, and Micere is there. You feel her presence. You feel her depth. And you feel her wisdom, creativity, the integrity that she brings to every occasion, to her scholarship, to her stories, to her social activism.
She cares because of her commitment to the struggle, to people, to humanity, you know. She's a caring human being. She's a nurturing human being. And not only to her own biological children, our children, you know, and everybody else that's not family to her. To me, she's been more than a sister. And her children have been more than big sisters to my own children. So that when they want to talk, they knew that Mumbi and Njeri are there. And with me, if I want to talk, I have any problem, I knew that Sis Micere is there to listen, to offer support, and to stand up and say, this is what I will do.
And yet another of your verses you stated, I am reminded that another woman's child is my child, that my sister's baby is my baby, that all the world's children are my children, our children.
I am a communalist, mother to my sisters and brothers' children. I am a grandmother to their children's children, and a great-grandmother to their children's children's children. I am a non-biological mother to countless daughters and sons in all the communities of the world where I have lived. I have been reborn many times, over and over, through naming no less than 8 children. And I know only these 8, there may be more, no less than 8 children have been named after me internationally. Micere has become a name that has traveled across the world.
Her poetry, her stories, her struggles give all of us a sense of hope that our paths crossed, that we came to know her. And so all this time that she's been struggling with the diseases and everything, just a sense of we cannot afford to lose this woman from our community. And to hear that she's been going through this, and that she had 6 months to live, and she's now been up for 10 years since they diagnosed her. It's a gift God has continued to bless us in this community with a gift of Micere Githae Mugo.
I'm always struck by how when things are not going our way, when tragedy hits, when illness hits, when political things hit, somehow she manages to pull herself together, to deal with it, and to move on gracefully, without malice. You know, she's an amazing woman. My sister is an amazing, amazing woman. She's a strong African woman.
Where have the years gone? Through the years, we've experienced trials, tribulations, tragedies, and triumphs. Sometimes it appeared as if the tragedies were outweighing the triumphs. But in the words of one of our ancestral sisters, Maya Angelou, your mantra became, still I rise.
I imagine that we exploded chilling silences, defrosted, refrigerated womanhood, pestled and mottled the chains that grate and grind us.
Most of us are thousands of miles away from home. And if you are here, or when you are here, and you don't have anyone to give you a helping hand, you're on your own. And that's what she's been trying to do, give a helping hand to individuals and to communities and to associations.
I know she doesn't want to be an active politician, but I'm telling you, so many countries, especially in Africa, will be glad to use him. She will be a gold mine as a leader of any African countries.
So Africa may have kicked her out, but she did not kick Africa out of her system. She's still an African. So wants us to treasure our Africanness.
I am very happy to have met this lady because I have learned so much from her. I have learned so much. At first, because I lived in Kenya, I thought she was just a Kenyan because someone I've known from Kenya. But sitting down with her, learning her contributions, learning that she was also in exile, she's also a freedom fighter like me, brought me even closer to her. We talked and she was telling me how she had helped not only South African freedom fighters in Zimbabwe and even Samara Machel's kids and all that, and the role just she played. I am very happy. I am very happy and very proud that at least I got to know her, and I have learned so much. I have learned so much that every time I'm with her, there's something new that I'm learning. And more than anything else, she does not hesitate to tell you if you had done something wrong. She will be like, my sister, once again, here I come with my forthrightness. What you did, I did not like, so. And it's not everybody who can do that. And I remember people saying, sometimes when you are assertive, people say you are aggressive. But she is more than assertive and not aggressive. So I am very happy to have met her, and her children. And like I say, I continue to learn from her every day. And someone who would not say, this one is from Kenya, this one is from where. Just being a sister, just being an African, she embraces you.
I would be remiss if I didn't say something about your daughters. Both always gave exemplary service to our university community and our community at large, a reflection of the tree from whence they came. They always referred to me as uncle, and I thought I was so special until I was at a community function one night and I heard them calling a lot of other men uncles, and I got jealous. And I said to myself, they're just doing that so that the other men won't feel bad, because I knew that I was the real special uncle.
When you walk into Professor Mugo's house, the late Injeri and Mumbi, the way they will receive you, you ask for a glass of water, they'll bring it, they will bow in front of you before they serve you. I've never seen this in my whole life in America. They will bow in front of you before you take your glass of water. This shows how those kids were brought up by their mother. Very, very distinguished family.
In all the talk about all of the political and educational things that she does, sometimes we forget that Micere is a human being, and she's a mother who loves her children. When I'm with Mumbi, she's always concerned about mom and how mom is doing. And when I talk to Micere, she is also thinking about Mumbi and how she's doing.
My daughter took a class with Micere. Okay? But if it's a daughter, I will let her know as a grandfather what it means to be a human being first, and what it means to be a woman with dignity, integrity, and commitment to the cause. this is the woman that I met, Syracuse University, called Micere Mugo. So for me, the symbol of African, the symbol of Mother Africa, the symbol of what it means to hold your children close to you.
When I think of her legacy as a mother, I think of a single woman in her early 30s leaving her country with 2 young children and not knowing how, what lays ahead. And I think, the job that she has done as a mother is something that I can only hope that I will meet by a fraction. She was always present as a parent. She put everything into my sister and I, and everything emotionally, I'm speaking materially, financially, just to make sure that we had every chance in life to make it. So when I think of her legacy as a mother, I can't think of any way or anyone who could have done what she did for us as a mother.
We've all been good people because of Professor Mugo and the family.
I love her as a sister, as a human being, as Mother Africa. She is the symbol of humanity. I'm glad she came into my life. My life is better because I've come to know her.
Oh, Micere Mugo's legacy would, academically, community-wise, family-wise, it's going to be a legacy that it will never be forgotten. It's a legacy that will never be forgotten. So her legacy will be just unforgotten. It's not something that will just go.
Cannot think that this community of ours will not have Micere Mugo with us. Her legacy would be bringing all of us together as a community and challenging us to take care of each other and of ourselves. And that there's more to be done in this world. Not just for ourselves, but for one another, for our children.
Today is not just another day. Today is Celebration Day, Communion Day, drumming and dancing, singing and feasting. We salute you, comrade of modest living. We salute you, comrade of human rights. We salute you, child of Mother Africa. Those who know you are better for it. I'm a better person for having known you. When the applause exhausts itself and a suspended moment hangs between us, when you forgot the many contributions you made to so many, bask in the knowledge of knowing that we never will.